My husband is cheating on me with my best friend. I'm honestly not sure where to start, so I guess I'll just start. My husband and I have been dating since I was 19 and he was 22. We've been married for 6 years now. We have 2 kids and I'm 6 months pregnant with our third. 2 years ago, I found out my dad has stage 3 colon cancer. My dad is my only parent as my mom passed away when I was 12. He's my favorite human, and life without him doesn't seem as colorful. About 5 months ago, we discovered the treatments aren't working for him, and in direct quote of the doctor, he said, "Months, not years." Since then, he's gotten progressively worse and now is losing memory. He looked at the dog he got for me on my 21st birthday and said, "Wow, that's a nice dog. Where'd you get it?" My husband has been my absolute rock. He has been there for me, holding my hand and helping me through this. He's been so loving and attentive to both my kids and I. My best friend and I have been friends since diapers. Her family is like my family and vice versa. My mom and her mom grew up together. We've always been solid, and right after my dad's appointment, when we found out he had so little time left, I drove straight to her house, and she held me while I cried for hours. If there are soulmates in friend form, she was mine. Thick as thieves is what my mom used to say. This morning, as I was up with my 3-year-old, he's sick. My husband's work alarm was going off. He has a few he sets, so I turned that one off and gently woke him up. He said he was up late working, so he took the morning off. Rolled over and went back to sleep. As I went to turn off the remainder of his alarms, I saw a text from my friend on his lock screen that said, "I'm assuming since there hasn't been an angry pregnant lady on my doorstep, you haven't told her about us yet?" Time froze in that moment. I took his phone and walked away and just read their conversations. 4 months this man has been fucking my best friend. 4 months these people have been lying to my face. And I know what you're gonna say. You should have seen the warning signs. But I've been clutching this phone in my hand for 2 hours and nothing. He has been so loving and attentive to me, but he always has been. So kind and gentle. There has been no late night work nights except for once in a blue moon. There has been no lingering touches between them, or even glances. They act as they have since the day I first introduced them. How sick is it that she calls him her brother, but she screws him? I know so many people get a moment of clarity in situations like this, but I have none. Aside from being sad about my dad, I haven't changed. I'm still a loving wife and mother. I still doted on him and my children. I talk to him about how he is doing and how was his day every freaking day. I haven't allowed the ground to swallow me whole. I know what I have to do now, but I just don't want to. I'm about to lose my family and my support system in one blow. I'll confront him tomorrow. Today, I just need this last 24 hours of peace.
Comments. 21 years married. Lost my best friend and my wife. She could have just picked anybody else on the planet and it would have been much kinder. I completely feel your pain. Another comment says, "Why is it always the best friend or sister?" And another comment says, "Do not leave your home. Take your name off of any joint credit cards and move 50% of any joint monies into a new bank account. You got this?"
Cab driver rips me to shreds thinking I can't understand him, but I can. This happened several years ago, a few months after I'd moved to Chicago. I had moved there from Romania, where I'd been living and going to school. Love Romania. People are great. Drop what you're doing and visit. Anyway, while I was there, due to my living situation, I had to learn the language fast and thoroughly. Not many people around me spoke English. Outside of the uni I was at. So, fast forward to the few months after I arrived in Chicago. Imagine my surprise when the driver of the Uber I had ordered appeared to have a Romanian name. The area had a lot of Eastern Europeans, so I guess it shouldn't have been so surprising. I was really excited to talk to him and make sure I wasn't getting rusty. Maybe make a friend. Up pulls the guy. I get in, he greets me, but he appears to be on the phone with a buddy of his. So I just sit quietly in the back, listening in a bit. The person on the other end asks if the driver's getting off work soon. He responded with something like the following: "No, I still have a few hours left, then I'll go home. Right now I have someone in the car. God, I hate this country. The women here are so fat and ugly. At least this one has a nice chest, but why can't she lose some weight?" And he goes on and on about all the problems with me and other American women. Now, I've always been a bit on the chunky side, and you best believe the Romanians loved to comment on it, so I was used to it. But I was a bit shocked that this guy was going off like that. Anyway, I'm just kind of sitting bemused in the back seat as we near my destination. Then I tell him in Romanian, with all my might, trying to pull off the distinct accent of the region I had been living in, "Can you just pull over there on the right?" I swear this guy's head did the Exorcist girl head move, and he turned a shade of red I have seen nowhere else in nature. He didn't say anything, just pulled over. When I got out, I said thanks and added, "You're not attractive and you're also fat, so maybe you shouldn't make comments like that." I have never again reached such levels of self-pride. Comments. This hits home for me. I'm a middle-aged white American who looks very much like my Irish ancestors, but I'm also fluent in Spanish and Haitian Creole. I'm a social worker, so I interview families nearly every day, and one thing I look for is a form of domestic violence called coercive control. Sometimes you'll have one partner who is fluent in English and uses that to control the other partner. And when I suspect that I'll only speak in English and listen to what the couple says to each other while I look on pretending I don't understand, then just a few minutes before I leave, I'll start speaking their language and watch their faces as they realize I understood them. This makes future visits much more productive. Another comment says, "I'm a French Canadian, but you would never know by my accent. 99.6% of people would just assume that I only speak English, and I fucking love it. I keep my French under wraps for exactly the type of scenario you were in, but alas, I haven't been able to bust anyone trash-talking me yet." And another comment says, "My family is deaf, but I'm hearing. Occasionally, when we go out, I'll keep quiet and just listen." Once, as we were being seated, our waitress told another waitress, "Great, more dumb deaf people." We were following her so nobody saw her lips, and she had no clue I could hear her. She proceeded to talk crap about the deaf community and then turned around with a fake smile and gestured to our seats. When it was time to order, I said, "Well, I guess we're too deaf and dumb to read the menu, so maybe you want to read it to me while I translate?" Her face was in complete shock. I snitch on a coworker for spitting on a customer's food. I work as a server at a popular chain restaurant. Last Saturday, it was a very stressful day as we were extremely busy. One of my coworkers, let's call her Tanya, was in an especially bad mood due to the amount of customers assigned to her section. The issue started when one of the customers ordered chicken strips with buffalo sauce on the side. As Tanya was walking with her tray of food, the sauce dish tipped over and spilled some buffalo sauce over the customer's fries and basked potato. I'm guessing she didn't think it was a big deal to have some hot sauce on your potatoes. So she brought it to the customer anyway. Well, the customer eventually called her back and asked for new fries and a new potato because they didn't want buffalo sauce all over their food. Tanya came back to the kitchen unreasonably upset. She was complaining about spoiled people, wasting food, extra work, and things like that. The cook made a new plate of food, and as Tanya was walking out of the kitchen, she stuck out her tongue and spit little flecks of spit all over the customer's food. I was shocked because I'd never actually seen someone do that in real life. I thought that kind of thing only happened in movies and TV shows. I was even more surprised that she did it during a pandemic. At the end of my shift, I told my boss what I saw, and he had a talk with Tanya afterwards. Now, everyone I work with knows that I did this since my boss told Tanya that I saw her spit on the food. They're all calling me a snitch. Tanya herself calls me the snitch. If she ever has to refer to me, she no longer speaks to me at all. I believe even my boss isn't happy that I snitched, though he hasn't said anything directly. I just feel a whole different vibe from him now. It's gotten to the point where I basically lost all of my work friends due to snitching. I'm not sure they will ever get over this because of how legitimately upset everyone is. I'm considering finding a new job because it has gotten so bad. Am I the asshole for snitching? Should I have just talked to Tanya privately and not told her boss? Comments. You waited until the end of your shift? You didn't call her out on it right then and there and let the customer eat that? You're just as bad. Another comment says, the restaurants my sister worked at had a policy where if you were caught tampering with a customer's order, like intentionally spitting onto the food, you'd be fired with no second chances. And another comment says, I wish we could know the name of the chain. It's shocking that the boss and the coworkers support spitting in food.